Hey everybody, I'm Max, and this is IGN at Gamescom now, and I'm here in the retro area, one of the many areas of Gamescom, which is massive, and I found this wonderful case full of some of my favorite things in the world of gaming, which is, of course, a nice selection of the history of Metal Gear. Now, Hideo Kojima made a big, huge presentation with Death Stranding, a game that I'm excited about in spite of it being very strange and weird, but Metal Gear will always be kind of my first love for his work, and it's kind of cool to look back at its long and storied legacy, going back up around 33 years at this point, though it's kind of dropped off in more recent years since his departure from Konami. But it all started back on the MSX. A lot of people in the West know Metal Gear as a Nintendo game, but it started on the MSX, which is a personal computer that Microsoft Japan released in 1983, and it was hugely popular in Japan and got not just Metal Gear 1, but Metal Gear 2, which was considerably more visually impressive than the NES version of Metal Gear. So that Metal Gear 2, back there, Solid Snake, which actually introduces a lot of key characters and kind of mechanics that the game became known for, was never actually released in the West until it was included in one of the other later iterations. Anyway, I'm rambling a bit, but Metal Gear Solid was really, I think, a lot of people's sort of first proper exposure to the series. This back here is a Kojima autographed premium package, which we would now call a collector's edition. I looked it up online, what's inside here, and it's got kind of similar stuff to what you have in collector's edition nowadays. It's got a t-shirt, it's got an art book, some cards, some dog tags, but whereas now collector's editions are pretty much standard, I feel like back in 98, 99, this was considerably more of a special occasion. What I really like seeing as an American is all the different PAL variations. Like here's the Metal Gear Solid box art, which is just gorgeous, and then there's the American one in the foreground, which is just embarrassingly boring. We just have like a white background with the logo. Some of my favorite box art is the Ghost Babel, the Metal Gear or the Game Boy Color game they put out, which is really an impressive kind of fusion of the aesthetics of Metal Gear Solid, but fused with almost the original simplified mechanics on a considerably less powerful device. Down here we hit the more modern era. You got Metal Gear Solid 2, and then of course there's Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance, which was sort of like, I feel like if they put out a Game of the Year edition before that was a known concept, but that included all sorts of weird extra bonus things. There were like, Snake had his own missions instead of Raiden. I think you could skateboard. It got very silly. Here's the HD collection, collector's edition. That's a big, huge box. That was also released in this considerably less pretty box. It's such a bummer to be like, hey, here's a celebration of like all these wonderful games, and then they're just kind of, it's just sort of like the box art there is really like not that great. Thankfully, they'd also put out the Legacy Collection, which really, that felt like a Criterion Collection release. That's like a really proper kind of salute to the series, which included, Metal Gear Solid 4, which wasn't part of the HD Collection. Metal Gear Solid 4 Collector's Edition back there has, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a little PVC figurine of Old Snake in there, which is, I've seen that all over eBay. I feel like there's something weirdly wrong with it, like it gets greasy or something. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, it's just nice to see this whole series here. Down here we start kind of getting into the weeds, and there's the sort of canon, beloved Metal Gear games, and then there's the weirder stuff like Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, which was developed by Platinum Games and involves you cutting watermelons in half in slow motion. And then there's Metal Gear Acid, which was a card game. And then there's Portable Ops. And then we're getting in sort of the modern era, the Metal Gear Solid 5 Parts 1 and 2, Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain. Something I really love down here, this is just an absolute beauty. Metal Gear Solid 5 got a special edition PS4, which I believe was that only in Japan? It's kind of hard to tell. No, I guess that was released in Europe. I don't know. This is like a very, very rare thing. I feel like this probably fetches $1,000 on eBay at this point, but it looks like his horrible hand. I love it. And then there's the considerably less exciting version of the PS3, which they put out for Guns of the Patriots, which I feel like it should have like I really wish it had like a carbon fiber finish or something. This one I think gets the job done much better. But yeah, it's kind of nuts that we've had so many years of Metal Gear, and then it sort of just kind of fell off because of Kojima parting ways. Oh well, we still have Death Stranding, which allows you to urinate and grow mushrooms and babysit and meet Jeff Keighley as a ghost. Gamescom. Lots of coverage coming out of it. Games of the past, games of the future, lots more coming up right here on IGN Gamescom now, so stick around.